Yo, what up, peeps? Um, this is supposed to be a live stream for the people um, who saw the Face of the Dragon documentary, and I was supposed to be doing this on Patreon, but they sent it through YouTube. So who's ever watching, what up? If you haven't seen the video yet, you guys can get over to patreon.com/realnoggers. If you subscribe for $2 a month, you guys can check out the video. That's the lowest we got. If you don't want to subscribe, if you want to just see the documentary, you can donate to GoFundMe.com/realnoggers. And for $10, I give you part one, 15, part two, and for $20, I'll $20 donation. I'll send you the whole documentary. But for the people who have seen it, I know people had questions. Or if you guys had questions about any of the information that I put out, like from the wordplay videos or from the So What shows, if any one of those, if you guys had any questions about that, I was here to answer that. But just so you know, these documentaries are going to keep coming. I'm going to keep pressing these out. The next one, I think I told you guys, was is going to be, um, "Am I Black or Greater Than That?" And that's about your melanin. And there's so many things that most people don't know about their melanin that they've been hiding. And I've been fortunate enough to come across so much of their research that they've hidden, and so I'm just going to bring that out. This is stuff that you haven't seen before that they tell each other in their scientific circles about what we can do, about what our melanin can do, about how they're watching us, and they're actually watching us. They actually go to our different websites. If they go to pro black websites and pro Africa websites and pro Egyptian websites and listen to what we say about how our melanin feels, and then they write it in their research and they talk about it at their conferences. So it's really funny. They'll have a quote in their documents from like Shabazz L from his website about how our melanin is triple blackness and this type of that. And so they're watching us. They're watching what you do. They're watching what we do. What's up, brother? What's up, brother? Universal entity. What's happening, man? So you know, today is supposed to be I rarely do live streams. I rarely do live streams, but I released that documentary, and I know um, that a lot of people, people were asking questions about it and where I got the information about the Moors and the symbology and how did I connect the two. So if you guys had any questions about that or any of the what's up, brother? What's up, Mel? So if you guys had any questions about that type of stuff or any of the information you seen me drop on the So What show, you know, I've been on there about almost 3 years now, so I know I talk a lot of different stuff about sovereignty, our Aboriginal connection to the land in America. You know, basically, as well as that dragon stuff, that also applies to that. How they've been hiding our knowledge about who we are so that we don't come and get it back. You have a Chambers etymology dictionary. Yeah, the best one is probably the Oxford English Dictionary or the Oxford Dictionary of English Etymology. Because remember, Oxford, all the English that's in London, and so all the English that's where they kind of pull all of the English language from there. But actually, though, if you Oxford, if just a little tidbit, Oxford actually got all of their knowledge. The scholars from Oxford, they learned from the Moors over in Spain, and they took all that information back over to Oxford and started Oxford, the Oxford College. So that's why you want that. That's why you want that book. That's one of the oldest that will trace all of the information, all of the words, the etymology of the words, all the way back. But there's so many now, though. So like, when I was doing that research, they didn't have apps. the internet wasn't really popping, especially in the hood. It may have been around, but only like for a few years. So a lot of the information that's in the dictionaries now, like you can find them on the app. So if you have an iPhone, you should go to the app store and get there's two etymology apps. There's two etymology apps in the app store. One, it's kind of a turquoise and it has a W, and you want that one. And the other one is just blue. It's a blue app. It says etymology, and you want that one. And both of those, unlike the dictionary, you want the dictionaries too. Don't get the dictionaries as well, but you want to cross reference and read all of those because different people wrote them, and so it'll give you a different breakdown of how the words or where they came from. So one will have a perspective one way, and then another one will have a different perspective of how the words came, and then you can match up the two and actually see how the word kind of got its meaning in both ways, like the connotation of what most people think it came to mean, and the denotation of what it actually meant. So you guys are out there. You're looking at the word plays. You're getting up on your knowledge. What up, Dante? Serpent head ass nigga. Is that what it is? Hey, I'm a dragon and a phoenix, partner. The dragon phoenix. But this if y'all got some questions about some knowledge, hit me up, man. That's what I'm here for. Um, I know y'all brothers got some. I know y'all look at the videos and all these words and where they come from. Y'all don't have any questions? Come on now, hit me up with some stuff. That's what's up. Andre, good looking. So how did I find out about the Phoenix and the Dragon? Um, well, that's just from studying, from studying information, going back and studying ancient history and different and our cultures, our civilizations. When you study language, see, this is why I tell you to study etymology, because the words you're using will usually tell you the history of where it came from. So, phoenix, if you just look at the word, if you just go look up the definition or the etymology of phoenix, it'll tell you it's the Arabian bird, the bird of Arabia who dies, who burns itself to fire and then comes back to life. So, Arabia is us. We the Arabs. Arab is not a nationality. Arab only means desert nomad or desert traveler. So that's all Africa over there. That's still all Africa. So when you're looking up, they try to use these code words to try to hide the nationality of who we are. Then that's when you kind of got to break through and understand and do the word history. A video on superheroes. That's kind of gonna be in the documentary of "Am I Black or Greater Than That?" So that's all. That's also where the superhero stuff comes from. So like X-Men. X-Men is kind of based off of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King at the time. So I'm going to throw that in there. So your melanin, your all the superpower kind of stuff is supposed to be your melanin. There's actually one dude named what's that superhero? Spawn. So if you guys you do your superhero breakdown, go look up Spawn. Spawn died and went to hell, and the devil gave him a super suit, and he's all black, and his super suit thinks on its own, and it can do all kinds of stuff. Like it can turn into anything. All he has to do is think it, and his suit, which is all black, which is melanin, it can turn into anything he wants. All he has to do is just think it. Save his life. It can turn into weapons and all kind of shit. We did break. We break down the Lord of the Ring movies? We did that on. There's a show called More History for Dummies. So on More History for Dummies, we broke it down. That was a show we did like 2 years ago. Apocalypse is one of the best, deepest supervillains. Yes, Apocalypse. Just so y'all know, if y'all, he's talking about Apocalypse from X-Men. Apocalypse is supposed to be an Olmec. Like, so he's, if you understand who your Olmec, the Olmecs were the first people in the Americas. They were the Dogon Mollys. They walked over when the land mass was connected. And so you'll go and you'll see in Mexico these giant heads, with these big old faces. And so that's supposed to be Thanos. Is like God. You go back and look up the word Then and Thay and thee and thy, and that all goes back to the word God. So Thanos is supposed to be like God. But so is Apocalypse. So like if you go back into the X-Men videos from the 80s and 90s, the X-Men cartoons, Apocalypse could grow infinitely big and infinitely small. And he would say, when he would grow, he says, I am Apocalypse. I am eternal. I am everlasting. I am ever living. You are more. I mean, he would say all this type of stuff. And he had this big old nose and these big lips. And then also you got to look at the skin tone. Whenever you see color, that means melanin, right? So they'll paint him blue, but you heard of blue black and stuff like that. So that's also that also goes back to him. So if you go look at the movie the movie X-Men Apocalypse, he's from Egypt. They start off the movie in Egypt. He on his breastplate on his belt buckle he has an ankh. The ankh is where he gets his power. That's symbolism for knowledge. So the meaning of the Jedi. So if you want to know about the Jedi, so the Jed, so you guys, a great book for you guys to buy is called The Ankh. Let me see if I can find it and show it. There's a book called The Ankh. You guys should get this book. So this book breaks down the power of the Ankh and how it's more than just a symbol. It's actually a conductor of energy. And so the Ankh would stick into something called a Jed. Okay, so this Jed was the power source. It was like an amplifier for the Ankh. So you would see this little part right here would stick into it. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. Power source for an Ankh. It's also the same. It's also where they got the battery. It's these where you see these coils. These coils represent positive, negative energy. That's how energy flows through it. So the Ankh would sit in the Jed and power it. And so the Jed and the eye. So the Jed representing the amplifier of the eye, of the third eye. That's what a Jedi is. A powerful, the amplified third eye. That's what the Jedi meant. Good looking up, Lift One. Appreciate you, brother. So I haven't. So don't. If you guys are in here, don't tell me nothing about the new Star Wars because I haven't seen it yet. So don't ruin the shit for me. I don't want to know nothing about it. So sit back. Don't if you're tempted to tell me I haven't seen it yet, I'm going to see it this weekend. Don't say anything. Did I read about the British princess that wore blackamoor Jews? I thought that was a sign of black royalty. They saying it meant black slaves. So, royalty, when you see royalty, first of all, you can't be royalty. You can't be royalty unless you have Moorish blood, Moorish descendants. You're a descendant of the Moors or some type, or one of the what they call black nobility, which is the Moorish bloodline. So go get a book called Nature Knows No Color Lines. Let me see if I have that. And that's by J.A. Rogers. It's called Nature Knows No Color Lines. And that book, damn. I got like $100 in here on the floor, like y'all can see. uh, Damn it. I can't find that book. I can't find that book right now. But Nature Knows No Color Lines. That book is by J.A. Rogers, and it has all of the old Moorish heads from the noble families in Europe, and so it has on their coat of arms for their family. It has all the Moorish heads on that coat of arms, and you'll see all of those families are descendants of Moors. So you guys can look this up on YouTube. Like type in Moors heads for European families, and there's guys who've done videos just of that. They put together like 5 and 10 minute videos of all the Moorish noble heads in Europe. Like if you go to Germany, all out through Germany, all you see is Moors on buildings, like big, like giant, super melanated brothers with turbans and the sashes and the swords, and they're all on these buildings all over Germany. So they know who you are over there. You just don't know who you are over here. What's the difference between status and nationality? Uh, Difference between status and nationality. Your nationality is your status, right? So there's not. I mean, it's nothing. I mean, there's no difference really. So it depends. So it depends on what nationality you are, but that is your status. Whatever your nationality is would be considered your status. So it depends on whatever that is, and that would put you on a certain level. So like most Caucasian Americans, this is why they're going to America, America. See, they're talking about a different American than you are. See you, and they're first citizens. They would be what's called first citizens, and melanated people are second or third class citizens. Third class citizens, really. What is that? I would really like to know the name of the book explaining the Jed and the Ankh. It's called The Ankh, African Origin of Electromagnetism. That's right there. And that's by Heru Ankh Ra Samaj Sapata. If you guys can get all of that. But there it is right there. If you go to Google and just type up the title, it should come up. Also, though, another book you guys should get, well, because this is also one that'll help you break down the thing. It's called Melanin, and this is by Dr. Richard King, and he studied melanin. You guys need to know everything you can about your melanin. So how do you feel about the stat that white racists try to say 50% of homicides are because of so-called blacks? What do I feel about it? I mean, that's just rhetoric. I mean, each side has their own shit to talk. I mean, believe it or not, most Caucasians are just as misinformed, if not more so, than you are. So a lot of the stuff they say is out of ignorance. Like they're spouting all this stuff, but they're fed bullshit information because the establishment needs to have them still thinking that they're on the top, because that creates the separation. So then they spout off their bullshit rhetoric just to piss you off. You get pissed off, then you spout off your bullshit rhetoric back at them. You guys keep fighting. Then the establishment is like, oh yeah, everything is great. Says I'm going to soak up as much info as possible during this winter break. There you go. I remember you and Zoe talking about Dragon Moors and Phoenix Moors. Can you go into where these terms came from? Again, if you watch the Dragon Moor documentary, I explain all that. But just real quick, Phoenix comes from you go back and look up the history. Phoenix is from the Phoenicians. Okay, that's from the ancient Phoenician Moors. That's in Canaan, the ancient land of Canaan, and so, which is Lebanon today. So that's all of us, all that region. That's all Africa, man. That's or whoever asked that question. That was all Africa. And so when you have to start taking the labels out of these things. They put all these labels on there to separate things to make you think that you're not that. Like there was an article, and I'll post it. I'll try and post it on YouTube if I can. But I sent this to Zoe the other day, where this Muslim person, it was a first generation American Muslim. Their family was from Sudan, and when they came over here, they got told, because they spoke Arabic. They were from Sudan. They're darker than this shirt. Like, if you know about sub-Saharan Sudanese people, they pitch dark, nighttime dark, and they got told that they had to be registered as white because they spoke Arabic. See, it's a game. I mean, that's why I tell you to stop calling yourselves black and white. This is not it's not a color. You guys are calling yourself crayon colors when it's all about a status. It's about a game of status. Why would they tell some people from Africa, right, literally right fresh over here, darker than anybody that's walking on the street over here, you can't call yourself black or African American, and all? You got to call yourself white if you speak, because they were Arabic. They were Muslim. They spoke Arabic. If you speak Arabic from another country, you automatically considered white. Remember, it's a game. Get out of the game. Learn what's going on so that you can elevate yourself from in the system. But if you constantly play the game in the system and without knowing the rules, then you'll never win it. I mean, they hope you go around and start believe and keep believing, all this bullshit about uh I mean, think about how silly that is. Color. Like, most people call themselves black. They would call this shirt black. I am nowhere near the color of this shirt. Nowhere near the color of this shirt. However, I'm supposed to identify with this color. And this color is not even black. The word black means pale or yellow. So they've gotten you thinking that even this right here, this is that this is the term black, and it's not. They flipped your whole lingo so that you don't even understand what you're saying. Says, right, let me know where I can see that documentary. Tiffany Haddish says she's legally white in an interview, and her dad is Eritrean. Yeah, when you're from Africa, see, she's legally white. When you're from Africa, you have to you get registered as a white person. The documentary is on Patreon.com. That's Patron. Excuse me, Patreon.com/realnagas. And you can, if you subscribe for $2, you can check it out. But that documentary, it took me a while to do because it's a lot of information in there. But if you guys, thank you, brother, I appreciate you, man. If you guys look up Nature Knows No Color Lines by J.A. Rogers, in sick book. But the book that comes before that is called Ancient and Modern Britons, and that's this book right here. So if you get this book is two parts. It's a hard read because it's written in 1884 by a Caucasian dude, Caucasian British cat. Asians are Nagas, Africans are collars. Man, see, there you go with the separation. Asian and African. What does Asian mean? What does the word Asian mean? That's not a nationality. Asian, Oriental, and what is it? Asian, Oriental, and the word Saracen that they used to use for the Moors. So they used to use two terms for Moors, Saracen and Moor, back in the day. So the term Saracen, Oriental, and Asian all mean the same thing, the rising sun. So they get you out of these terms to separate yourself, to separate you, man. Stop separating yourself. You are dark melanated people. You are all over the damn place. Stop separating yourself. just from where they descended. Right. Well, remember though, they all descended from everywhere. The Asians, if you go back and look up where the Moors went over into Asia, so you can still see them today. They got, I forgot the name of those people, with those Asians that live off those little islands with the super afros, those super dark brothers with the super slanted eyes, and they got all these giant afros. I forgot the name, but you can still see those, the Asians are the descendants of those people. That is it. He said, my brother said, Mystic Moore said the At people or the Hari people. See, I forgot the name of them, but if you go, all you gotta do is just go look up the African Asians, and they'll pop up these African brothers, these African people over in Asia with these super afro. I mean, look like they from the '70s. Like they was on the White Shadow. That if you anybody know that old show, but again, it's a game. All right. Again, this is the game they want you to play. If you're gonna play the game, be the master of the game. Don't fuck around with the bullshit that they're giving you, all these labels and titles. And if you do, learn what they mean so that you can take control of them. They broke that down in they broke that down in Hidden Colors 1. Exactly. So you know what I'm saying. I'm really trying to get this whole black and white thing out, because most brothers are so caught up into that. That's the very first blockade that you have to get past. And this is a major thing they play on you. So when you go to different countries, what's the UCC code book is the best? Man, I don't even mess around with the UCC no more. That's bullshit. That's some stuff they put out there to trap you. But African, when you go to different countries, melanated people aren't called black. They're called by their thank you, brother. I appreciate it, Rep. So melanated people are called by their nationality. They're called Nigerian or Ghanaian, or like my brother just said, Tiffany Haddish, Eritrean. They called by their country. They're not called black. And if they are called black, it's some stuff they got from us. They pulled that over from us, because Britain started to they once we started really using the black and white classification, Britain started to use it and started to spread it on around that region over there, that landmass. What does elevating yourself in the system mean specifically, ergo the benefits? Well, it's more so learning the law. It's putting yourself in the right position not to be fucked with. Now, it's not just elevating your status. Elevating your status means nothing if you don't know the law. So don't go. I don't preach elevating your status just to elevate your status. I preach learning the law. If you know the law, you don't really have to even elevate. You don't have to do any of that paperwork stuff if you know how to speak the law. But it's better still to still have it and speak the law than than just have one or the other. He says Tiffany ain't bad enough to be trained. Them chicks are what? Oh man, come on. He says aligning with the whites. Oh yeah. But again, white is not a color. White is not a color. White means master. Come on, brothers. Get off the name game. Get off the word bullshit. That's why I put out wordplay to start teaching you guys of words that you think mean one thing, how far away from another meaning they actually are. Just to get you start thinking and say, damn, what this word mean? Like I'll still do that today. I'll be going through a conversation with somebody, and it'll be a regular word I use, and I'll use it, and I'll stop myself. I'm like, damn, what the hell did that word mean? I use that shit all the time, and I just stop and look it up. So you guys should get in the habit of that. So what do we call? He says white is whatever white say you are. Okay. See, I can't do nothing for you. If you locked into thinking that they all powerful, then you just gonna keep thinking that. I can't do nothing for you. And then you go ahead and think that they all powerful, they gonna do whatever. Look, I know otherwise. I've seen otherwise for myself. So until you see otherwise for yourself, there's nothing I can do. I'm not in the convincing game. That's not my deal. I spread information and you use it how you use it. I'm not into being, I need to convince you. I ain't about that. Look, man, I put the information out. If you take it and you use it and you better yourself, fine. If you don't, I ain't got nothing to do with that either. Look, the universe passed this to me. I pass it to you. You use it how you want. But the convincing game, I ain't about that. They make up words to fit what they want, but that's our game though. They don't make remember the word game is our shit. We started that. That's where the Phoenicians come. That's what phonetics mean. That's where you get that's why you have a telephone. That's all of that. That's our game. We make up words today. We make up words right now. We got all kind of shit. Thought and what's the words they be using today? I mean, it's all kind of shit. We got turned up. Turned up mean like fucking 18 million things. Like turned up. And when I was young, or lit. Let's use the word like lit. Lit when I was young meant that you was fucked up off you was drunk or you was fucked up off some weed. Lit today meaning your ass is turned up. Like you off the chain, with energy. So again, we make up words as we go along, but don't let them their definition of the word or what they put out as the meaning of the word be the power. Go learn what the word actually meant, take the power back, and you use it the way it was supposed to be used. That's what the law is. See, that's why lawyers get paid so much goddamn money. Because when they use words, they know how to use words. That's the only reason lawyers get paid so much money is because it's a different language. They get paid to learn literally a different language. If you learn that language though, you have cracked the game. That's why all of the politicians are lawyers. That's why even most of the people you see on TV, on CNN as reporters and shit now, most of them go through law school. They don't go through law school to be lawyers, but they go through law school so they understand the language. See, this is a game they playing, man. Even if they don't become lawyers, they take pre-law this or pre-law that because you have to learn that lingo because that's the shit that runs everything. Now, it's the king. There you go, the King's English. Man. The next wordplay is going to be the King's English part 2. Actually, that he just said, brother William Brandon, he just put that out. But that's going to be the next one, the King's English part 2, because there's so many words that you guys have to understand that they use to flip the game. Oh, thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man. I don't do live, so you know what I'm saying. I'm getting it in as I can. But you learning the law. If it's one thing that I teach that you guys take from me, it's learning the law. I was watching the news the other day, and they were talking about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump got a new lawyer, and Donald Trump's lawyer started saying some stuff that kind of incriminated Donald Trump, and so then they brought on a panel to talk about it. What's good, brother? They brought on a panel to talk about it, and one of the panels was an ex state judge, like a state's attorney judge. So when she came on and they asked her, did Trump's lawyer incriminate Trump in the law in the letter? And she goes, well, yeah, it can be construed as that. Once if there's an investigation, it could be construed as that because Trump's words kind of say that he knew something wrong was going on when he did this. And so then she said, there's one thing you learn in law school. Every student learns in law school the very first month they're in law school, and it's that ignorance of the law is no defense. This is what she said, right? She said the very first thing a law student learns when the very first month he's in law school is ignorance of the law is no defense. He said in the movie Dracula Untold, was the villain supposed to be the Moors? Yes. Yes. The villains are the Moors, absolutely. Dracula, you go study what's his name? The Prince of Wallachia. What's his name? Vlad of Wallachia. He's Vlad the Third, because there's 2 Vlads. His father was Vlad, 3. So his father was Vlad the Second, but you got to study Vlad the Third, and you'll see all the crazy shit that he did. He was a gangster though, for as far as he wasn't no straight punk. Like the Moors were punking everybody. He didn't get punked. So that's why he's kind of put out there as a giant figure in their world, in the Caucasian world, is because he was one of the very few people to be able to stand up against the Moors and fight back. As was Charlemagne. Charlemagne, like Charlemagne the God, doesn't even know that he's walking around with a name of a Caucasian dude who's famous for defeating the Moors, his ancestors. Which is, it kills me every time I hear it. I see him on, I watch him on the Breakfast Club or any, I see him on TV. But you know, that's what all this different stuff comes from. So you know, you got to learn what's going on out there. You know, and I'm not going to keep pressing it, you know, and pressing it in on you. But learn that language, fella. Learn that language, people. He says the meaning, this meaning of words you speak is original meaning of certain Europeans. So what is the power of knowing beyond entertainment? He said, what is the power beyond knowing of entertainment? I'll give you what is the power of knowing the meaning of words beyond entertainment? Okay, I'll give you an example. When you loan somebody some money, you expect them to pay you back, right? You loan somebody $20 and they supposed to pay you back $20, right? Now, the actual meaning of the word loan means to give, not to give with an expectation of return. Loan literally means to give as a gift. So if I know the real meaning of the word loan and you don't, then I can use that word. I can say, loan me some money. And you say, okay, I'll loan you some money. Because I mean the actual meaning of the word loan. I mean, can you gift me some money? You thinking the other bullshit meaning of the word. So then you understand how you can manipulate a situation with the understanding of the meaning of words? So this is what they know. They notice they can come down the pike and they can say certain words and that you think have a certain meaning. They know it has a completely different meaning and they roll with that. You said there are clauses that prevent cases. I mean, I'm not about to get into the deep law conversation about stuff like that. However, just understand there are law. You understand in law, the law leaves much room for interpretation. Okay, this is also another understanding from law school. The law leaves a lot of room for interpretation. Now, if your interpretation can come really close with, so this is what a judge, this is depending on when you're in court, what most judges will do. When you interpret the law, if your interpretation can come pretty close to what the actual law says, the judge will give you leeway. That's why there's certain things called precedents. The judge will say, oh, you know what? I can see what you're saying. Okay, I'll give you that. So you got to understand that. And if you don't know that, then you just don't know that. You keep saying, "Come on, man," but that's the case. Dude, I've written 50 million legal documents that's gotten out of court, that's gotten people out of court. So, I mean, I'm not gonna sit up here and argue with you about it. You go learn the law and you use it the way you need to use it. Again, I'm not trying to convince nobody of shit. This is the Negrito. There you go. That's what it is. There you go. The Negrito. That's it. Thank you. It's called the Negrito the ethnic group that's in Asia with the Afros, with the big out in the Southeast Asia. They call them Negritos. Go look them up. That's where the Asians come from. That's the descendants that's the ancestors of the Asians in China and all those places today. Says, I'm the guy who called in and said, you got the best plan to avoid getting punched. Which one was that? Says, what's the simplest way to tell Christians they're worshiping a person who did not exist? That's a good question. My whole family's Christians. Just for anybody who's out there dealing with this, and I'll get back to the more stuff. My whole family's Christian. Except me, right? I don't tell them anything. I don't tell them anything. I deal with my family on the level of love and kinship, because once we get into that different stuff, that's gonna we're gonna start arguing. That's it. Once we if we're gonna start arguing, what's the point? We're coming together as family. So if we get into a debate, debate means to beat down into the ground. So if I get into a debate with a Christian person, then that means I'm not really trying to. We're not trying to really having an open discussion. I'm trying to listen to them to see where I can beat their point into the ground. So what's the point of that? You my fam. I'd rather come together with my fam and chill and have a good time. So when you're talking to Christians, if a Christian is truly open to hearing what you say, then that's what you want to do. But if they're not, you're gonna beat your head against the wall, against a steel wall forever, trying to convince somebody of something. You gotta and you gotta understand. Convince means to defeat someone, or to overcome, to try to defeat them. You don't. Why try to do that? You want to go out there and try to work with people who's of the same mind state as you, so you can get some shit done faster and easier. But you trying to beat somebody into the ground with your philosophy and your mind state. That's gonna do shit. That's gonna waste your time. Says the world is upside down. Lucifer is the real good guy, not not God. Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Moore. I appreciate you, brother. He's right. I mean, Lucifer, the light bearer, all of that, the 666. That's all. I mean, that has that has 50 different meanings. But if you don't understand the 666, that's symbology for your melanin. I mean, all of these things, you are God. Like that's the main secret. That's the big secret that they're holding back. All this that's why they had to make these mythological creatures, these crazy ass mythological creatures out of you, because they couldn't hold back the information of what we once were. They couldn't hide that shit. They were like, damn, who made these pyramids? Who did this shit? Who was this? Who did that? I mean, we are greatness. And so is everyone. Everyone has melanin. Let me just say this. Everyone has melanin. But our culture, our civilization, the fathers and mothers of the world, we were some motherfuckers mashing. And they could not hide that knowledge and information. So what they had to do is create mythological creatures out of us, so that they could still tell the story, but we wouldn't know who they were talking about. And so we would have we're still lost, but they're still able to tell the story. What do you think about people who believe we transcend from alien? Or transcended from, man, look. Watch Ancient Aliens, man. That's all I tell them. Watch Ancient Aliens. Make up your own mind. Go back and look up the Sumerians. See, that's your ancient culture. That's the first civilization. Who we were. Go back and look up what they studied. How they were able to know about the planets that they didn't have they didn't have any telescopes to see. How they were able to know the colors of the planets, the sizes, and all this and that. So you don't look. I don't say anything. All you do is take the information that you see, that you have, and you make a logical inference from that. I don't know that they was extraterrestrials, but I'm gonna say this: it's a damn great possibility that they weren't high when they were doing all that, when they were creating all this damn information. So, what I'm saying, you take all that information and say they had to know something. Like you can't know how many planets there are without a telescope and know the colors and sizes without knowing something, without having some external information that, that we're not privy to at this time. So that's what I say to that, But the reason I only say that is because that doesn't necessarily help us right now. It helps us to understand, to have a greater understanding of our history and ancestry and where we are and what powers we have. But today, that ain't gonna stop us. That ain't gonna stop a billy club from getting rammed up your ass. So that's why I don't really necessarily mess with that at this time. Like, for good conversation, on the side, to understand who we were, that's awesome. But to get us ahead today, I don't really deal with that. So Ancient Aliens turned me off to the idea too much of a guessing game. Well, they're not guessing. They just can't they're not guessing in Ancient Aliens. You guys, if just real quick, when you guys watch Ancient Aliens, first of all, the guy who does Ancient Aliens, he's He's a professor out here at one of the universities out here in Southern California. You can, a lot of people go check out his lectures out here. So just to let you know, what they're not telling you in Ancient Aliens is us. That's what they're leaving out. They're not inferring a lot of stuff, but they can't say who the cultures were, because then that would fuck up everything. So in leaving that out, it looks like they're inferring and they're leaving shit out. They don't know what they're talking about. But he knows exactly what he's talking about. He just can't say certain stuff because that would bring up this whole, what I'm saying, that would cause this whole crazy, melees. Oh, they said black people were the aliens, and they were the, and that would start so much shit. So they got to kind of leave it in a. That's why they asked you in question form: were there aliens? Did the aliens come down and help these civilizations? Were this that they have to ask it like that. So where we at now? Let's see. It says when starting a business, should it be a C corp or LLC? Just real quick, if you're starting a business, it depends on what your business is for. All these different things are for what that's for. On a different level, most people start LLCs. That's limited liability. That leaves you, if some shit happens to your business and people try to come to sue you, that leaves a firewall in between you and the rest of the world. So most people, if you're starting a business, that's the easiest one to start, is the LLC, and it provides you with pretty good protection. Corporations are harder to run. They have more protection, but they're harder to run. So if it's just your first one, do the LLC thing. So it says David Wilcox from Ancient Aliens did say the Anunnaki were melanated. Yes, he did, and so did look up. I don't know if you guys know about a guy named Graham Hancock. Okay, this is a guy. If you haven't heard he did ancient civilizations. He did a documentary called Ancient Civilizations. Go look up Graham Hancock. He's married to a melanated woman, and so he has probably some of the best information on the ancient civilizations. And he says the reason that they don't talk about these ancient civilizations, especially he does one on the Olmecs. He says the reason that they don't talk about the Olmecs is because they're obviously and unapologetically African. He says that's pretty much verbatim what he said. He said they're obviously and unapologetically African. So he breaks off. He doesn't care. He'll tell you, because his wife is melanated. So he got to go home. He can't go home, walk through the door, and fake the funk because his wife will pimp slap him. But good guy. Oh, another guy. If you guys haven't looked up John Anthony West, I'm giving you guys all the information, where all I get all my information from. Start to look up these people. All right, John Anthony West. Look up what is it? Hold on. Look up. Oh, this is it. Magical Egypt. You guys haven't checked this out? Look up Magical Egypt. You may be able to find these on YouTube. A lot of copyright was going on with it. Somebody had the whole series on at one point, and then there was a copyright thing. So I think you can only find it in bits, but if you can, try to find it. It's in 8 parts. It's 8 episodes, like 8 1 an hour and a half episodes. It's incredible. But the one you should see the most is probably episode 4. It's called The Temple in Man. I put that in the Dragon I put it in the Face of the Dragon documentary. I put parts of it in the Face of the Dragon documentary. But that documentary right there, that whole series, Magical Egypt, is incredible. It's one of the greatest documentary or series breaking off Egypt that you've ever seen, especially by a Caucasian, because he don't care. He doesn't care about what ethnicity it was. He's just letting you know this is what this meant. This is what that means. This is what this means. He don't give a shit about what color. I mean, he's literally breaking it off. And also, Ashraf Kwesi. If you guys haven't heard of Ashraf Kwesi, he's also a real good cat. The website for what are you talking about? The Bishop. What are you talking? What website you talking about? John Anthony pretty good too. Yeah, yeah. John Anthony's pretty sick right now, but he put all the information in this little magical Egypt. Everything he learned. He lived in Egypt for 30 years. This guy John Anthony West. He lived in Egypt for 30 years. He compiled everything he learned. I mean, he sometimes he like lived in at the temples. This dude would sleep at the temples. So everything, all the information that he learned, he put in these documentaries, and it's incredible. It will reawaken DNA. I'm telling you, it will open up DNA in you, especially like even the first one where they talk about the pineal gland and the your endocrine system, basically your the secretions of your glands, like the certain chemicals that your glands secrete, how they put you in certain states and certain mental states. I mean, this stuff, it's incredible stuff. Yeah, magical Egypt. Let's see what he says. What the dictionary name of the origin of words? The English, the dictionary, the Oxford Dictionary of English Etymology. Oxford Dictionary of English Etymology. Everybody should have that one. Just period. Everybody should have that. And if you have that book and you just start going through it, you're gonna start tripping. I'm telling you, get that dictionary, get that etymology dictionary, and just start looking up crazy ass words. Start looking up words. You can be like, oh shit, this what that mean? Oh, get that. I'm telling you, it's gonna start tripping you out. Just confused. It's amazing how the media will go along with the blackamoor brooch that Princess was wearing was negative. Oh, I didn't see it. I didn't see what that was. I didn't see anything about a brooch. But blackamoor is a derogatory term because black meant that they were on a subservient status when they got lowered down from when they were running everything, and they got put down as the lower Moors or the blackamoors or the Moriscos, which means little Moors. So you again, it's everything has been about status. Even when we ran things as the Moorish Empire, it was about status for Christians. If you were a Christian and you joined and you became a Muslim, you converted to Islam, then you enjoyed all the privileges of the first class citizens of Muslims. Like you could, you know, all the laws and everything that were for Muslims, you can enjoy those. If you didn't, they called that term black was put on you. You were a subservient or second class citizen as a Christian, and there were certain things that you couldn't do. They would still let you worship your Christianity. They didn't make you. They didn't force you to change and to convert. But if you stayed Christian or Jew, then you were a second, third class citizen, and that's just how it was. So it's always been about that. We had it first, then that's where they learned it from. They were like, oh, okay, so we're the black. When they got power, they flipped it. No, y'all the black. Now y'all blackamoors. So it became that immediately. They literally like, so it was like, okay, well, right before the Caucasians took over power, we weren't called blackamoors. But as soon as they took over power, that's when we were called blackamoors. Most people don't understand or even or even think, why was that so? Why right after we took power, we started being called blackamoors? So that's because it was a subservient or a lower status or a demotion. Uh, the deported blackamoor. So tell us about the accuracy or the inaccuracies of Malachi Z. York. Oh man, I don't get into Malachi Z. York, bro. That's you know what I'm saying. That's some stuff. That's some stuff. I've peeped a lot of his information. A lot of his information is it's factual. A lot of it isn't. Again, you need to treat information like chicken. This is what my aunt told me when I was 10 years old. Treat information like chicken. Eat the meat and throw away the bone. Whatever you find, you take what you can from the information. What's good, you cross reference it, you study it, and you make sure that, you know what I'm saying, you check it out and make sure it's the exact what it is. And if you can't corroborate any information, then you throw that shit away. You don't make that part of your shit. And so that's what I do about that's what I can tell you about Malachi Z. York. If you looking at his stuff, all the factual information that he puts in there, check it out. If it's factual and you can corroborate it, make it your own. If you can't corroborate it, don't fuck with it. That's you know what I'm saying, and that's any information. That's any information that you come across. People gonna tell you to look at this and look at that and look this up and oh, this dude said that and this person said that. Man, don't take nothing nobody say. Don't take shit I say. Nothing that I say you shouldn't be taking as nothing. Everything I say you should be looking up. Every damn thing, no matter what the hell it is, you should be looking it up for yourself. So you spoke on how black people all over, specifically in America. Let's see. You spoke on how black people was all over, specifically in America. So if most of us were already here, then what did the Native Americans that we know today come in? They're our descendants. The Native Americans that you know today are our descendants. They're just a mixture of the what you call Asians. When the ice bridge was here, the ice bridge from Asia was up. They came over here. They hooked up with the Olmecs. They fucked, and then they had kids. And then some of those Olmecs, so some of them were light, some of them were dark. Some of the light people, they mixed in with each other. Some of the dark people, they mixed in with each other. Some of the light and the dark, they mixed in with each other. And that's why you get all the different shades from. But it's, what I'm saying, that comes down, so that's where you get the Mayans. So you got the Olmecs and the Asians hook up. Then you get Mayans, and then so go look up the Bonham Pack Mayans. You should go look that up. Bonham Pack. That's Bonam Bonham Pack. Pak. Bonham Pack Mayans. And you're gonna see the darkest, most melanated Mayans that you ever seen in your. I mean, church black. They some oil slick dark Mayans. And so these were the Mayans who were over here first. And so then the Aztec culture comes from the Mayan culture, and that's when they started to be lighter and lighter and so on. It started to get lighter and lighter down the line. But the Mayans or the Olmecs were the super dark brothers from Mali, the Dogon Africans who crossed over from Mali. They produced the Mayans. The Mayans produced the Aztecs, and then so on and so forth. The Aztecs produced the Mexicans, which you see today. But go look up the Lenape. Go look up the Lenape Native Americans or Aboriginal Americans. The Lenape means the original people. Their history of what they talk about, they go back, they've been here for 12,000 to 15,000 years. And so go back and look them. That's actually where the Constitution gets its "We the People" from. It got it from the Lenape, the original people, or it's called "We the Original People." They got it from the Lenape. So they were the people who over here first, and they called themselves the Moors. They called themselves Moors. Like like them, you know what I'm saying? Also, a part of them, go look up Nanticoke Moors. Okay, that's all the different Native Americans that are over in the East Coast, on that East Coast region. Nanticoke Moors. That's Nanti, Nanti Coke. So why didn't we talk about Egypt from here? What do you mean? Why didn't we talk about Egypt from here? I don't get what you mean. Why does Mexicans dislike Africans? That's the social game. That's why they don't dislike Africans. They call themselves niggas all day. They call you can go look up 50 million Mexican fights on YouTube, and before they get in the fight, every one of the Mexicans around each other calling each other nigga. Yeah, nigga. Yeah, nigga. Fuck you, nigga. So they don't hate. They want to be you. I mean, everybody just understand. Most of these people, most of the people who you believe who hate you as a race. First of all, there's no such thing as race. They're your descendants. They don't hate you. They just want acceptance. See, you understand, you as the fathers and mothers of the planet, when you started having, when we started to have, in non-melanated children, because that hadn't happened. They were probably getting ostracized and pointed at, and we didn't accept them as well. And so it's that non-acceptance that's deep down, that's deep rooted. And so eventually, ultimately, that's all they really want is acceptance. That's why, when you go hang around Caucasian people or somebody, that's why they love, a gang of Caucasian people, they'll love to have that one black friend, and that one black friend validates their whole crew. That one melanated friend validates their whole crew, because now they have acceptance. Like, look at Larry David. If you go look up Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is a funny ass fucking show, but they got JB Smoove on there, and he talked about that. He talked, like, Larry David talked about how Caucasian people, they like to talk about when they have a black friend. And it's funny. JB Smoove tells him some slang at the house, and this nigga, he'll go back and he'll start talking the slang with his white friends. He'll use it, and they'll say, "Where'd you get that from?" And he said, "Oh, that's black slang." So ultimately, you just gotta realize they just want acceptance. It's not hate. You know what I'm saying? It's that you turned me away type of thing. A set is the Black Madonna. Yes. ISIS is where it actually goes back before that. ISIS goes back to the Sumerian god. I mean, Madonna or Virgin Mary goes back to the Sumerian god Ishtar, or Inanna. That was her name in Sumer. It was Inanna. So Virgin Mary and Jesus really are Inanna and Tammuz. That was the first depiction of them in Sumeria. So Tammuz, Tammuz, and Inanna, I think it's Inna, whatever. Just type it in, it'll come up. Just type in Sumeria and Inanna, you'll see the two. What exactly are the Akashic records? The Akashic records are Ishtar, yeah, Ishtar, Easter, East, yeah, exactly. Right up, brother Blowfly, exactly. Ishtar is Easter, Esther, Easter, exactly. So the Akashic records, according to how it's written down, you have a physical world and then you have an energetic world. And so everything that happens in the physical world is supposedly has already happened in the energetic world first. And so what's already happened in the energetic world is called the Akashic records. From the understanding of what I've read and what I've been, what I studied. So now, again, I'm not a master in the Akashic records, but I have studied them, and that's what the Akashic records are supposed to be. What are your thoughts on the super intellectual Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris? Don't know who that is. who believe that we have no soul and refute anything spiritual. Again, chicken, throw away the bone. Eat the meat, throw away the bone. Man, you guys got to understand, man, about energy. So a while ago, I created something called ohmology, right? So ohmology, if you look up the word ohm, there's two ohms. There's OHM and OM. OHM is physics in physics, right? That's the physical ohm. It's the physics equation of ohm, meaning or it's like it's called Ohm's law. Okay, there's something in physics called Ohm's law. And then in spirituality, there's the tone, or the spiritual called tone, Ohm, when you Ohm. Okay, the two things represent energy. Okay, they represent physical vibration and energy. In Ohm's law in physics, just to break it down simply, Ohm's law means the energy that's gotten out of something is equal or proportional to the energy that goes into it. Okay, that's Ohm's law in a nutshell. And so then when you ohm, the spiritual ohm is the universal tone. It's basically the vibration that everything, that all planets vibrate on, that all plants, all living life vibrates on this universal tone of ohm. And when you ohm it, when you ohm, you chant ohm, it basically brings your body back in tune with, or in harmony with nature. Okay, so what is harmony? It basically means the lossless flow of energy between the two, right? So when you guys are out here, but you want, and so that basically, that those two things represent conductivity, right? So there's superconductivity and there's semiconductivity. So the difference between the two is semiconductivity means when energy flows between 2 points and some of that energy is lost between 2 points. That's semiconductivity, meaning all of the energy that started off didn't finish at the end. In superconductivity, that means all the energy that I put in at the beginning, it flows all the way through lossless and hits the end, and it flows back and forth forever harmonically until, as long as those 2 points vibrate at the same rate, at the same harmony, or at the same speed, the energy can flow between the two lossless and harmonically. Now, what you guys should be trying to do is harmonize with people when you're out here trying to link up and you know, and learn information and use that information to create different worlds and free people. Stop trying to butt heads with motherfuckers. Stop doing that, man. That serves no purpose. If you come across somebody and you trying to share information, and both of you are just confused and you're really open to understand information and what each other is conveying, then great. Yeah, resonance. Absolutely. It's called resonance. So if you're open and try to understand what each other is saying, then fine. It's an open conversation. I just don't understand what you're saying. Please explain it to me more so that I can get it. But if you're talking to people, most times when you're talking to people, you're talking to them to defeat them. Okay, you want the other motherfucker to know how smart you are over them. So you're not really listening to what they're saying. You're listening to what they're saying so you can find the weak point in the argument that you can attack it and jump on it. Again, it goes back to debate, to beat down into the ground. All that does is waste time. When I first met Zoe and I got into information, I used to carry a backpack around with all these books in my backpack, ready to slay a motherfucker who said anything. Because I wasn't about arguing with you. I'm going to show you for real. In these books, I carried dictionaries. I carried every type of book that I needed to break your ass down with. And I would slay you. I was ready. For anybody who said anything, I was ready to cut your ass up. But then you have to start thinking back. How much time am I wasting doing this shit? I'm wasting so much energy trying to battle cats. How much energy, how much more could I have gotten done talking to somebody who I really had in harmony with, who really wants to hear the information and is going to take the information and go and cultivate it and use it and make it grow? So that's when I had to start. That's when I had to put the sword away. And this is a good analogy to go back. You guys need to watch that movie Hero with Jet Li. All right, so Jet Li has a movie called Hero. And just to give you some spoilers. At the end of the movie, Jet Li is the greatest swordsman in the world, in the land, right? And so they're trying to kill the emperor. So that they think the emperor is all bad, and they're trying to kill him. And so they hire Jet Li to kill the emperor, right? Because there's some dope swordsmen in the land, but they tried to kill him and they couldn't kill the emperor. So they said, we're gonna hire Jet Li to kill him because his sword is the fastest. So Jet Li, once he gets to the emperor, he starts to tell this story about how he met up with the other swordsman. And in the story, he's using the story as he tells the story, the emperor allows him to get closer, because when he's talking to the emperor, no one is allowed to get close to the emperor because he's always trying to be everybody's always trying to assassinate him. So what the emperor does is says, okay, tell me your story about when you met these swordsmen. And every time you tell me the story and I believe you, I'll let you get closer to me, one step closer to me. So as Jet Li is telling him the story, his whole plan is to get close enough to the emperor so that he can kill the emperor. So as he's doing it, he's getting close to the emperor, and he gets close enough to the emperor to kill him, and then the emperor understands that he was using the story just only to get closer to him to kill him. And he asked him, "Why didn't you kill me? You had a chance to kill me. What was the?" He said, "You had every chance to do it. Why didn't you?" And he says, he says, in my journey, the one thing I learned was, because the one, let me go back. So he was saying that, so the emperor, everybody thought the emperor was evil, but the emperor had a greater plan to try to unite China under one banner, because China was these different little clans and they were always fighting. So the emperor's whole plan was, okay, I got to smash on everybody first, bring them together, and then we can unite under one China. That was his main goal. But everybody was pissed that he was just doing all this smashing. So Jet Li understood his plan, and he was like, okay, in order to alleviate all the war in the land, I can't kill you. You're the only person who can bring peace and harmony to the land. So as a warrior, I have to learn that my greatest goal, my greatest fight is to put down the sword. He was like, my ultimate goal as a warrior is not to kill somebody. It's to put down the sword and to bring peace and harmony. That's only why I wield my sword, is to bring peace and balance. So if there's a way to create peace and balance without using my sword, then I have to lay the sword down. That's the goal. That's the moral to the story, which is a fucking ill ass story. So in learning that and understanding that, you can't go out and try to battle everybody if you're trying to get somewhere as a people. Okay, you there's gonna be cats that you don't vibe with. You're not gonna be able to get to them because you're not gonna have the same experiences. They're not gonna they haven't seen the same information that you got. They don't have, you know what I'm saying, they don't have all the things that you've seen, all the resources that you have. They may not have seen that. So it'll be a hard thing trying to try to break them down. Remember, convince means to defeat them. You're not trying to defeat somebody. You don't want to defeat somebody. They're not your enemy. You want an ally. You're trying to make this person an ally, and to do that, you have to show them. You're not trying to convince them. You're trying to show them. Now, if I show you and you can't resonate with that, then I need to leave you with that until you're able to understand, and I can come back when you're ready. But right now, what I need to be doing is getting on the same plane as people of my same mental vibration, so that we can do things quicker. And that goes back to the super conductivity. When you're with people who think of the same mind and you're of the same goal, you get shit done so fast you can't even, it fucking confounds you. Like, how the fuck did we get all this shit done? That's because we were of this one mind, one goal, one purpose. And so I implore you cats, like, most cats fight because it's more of a, we're taught to be warlike in the hood. That's not the purpose, man. Lay down the sword. Now, if somebody's just being stupid and they're misleading people, I mean, there's always time to battle. I mean, let me say that there's a balance to everything. There is a time to pick up the sword and cut somebody's face off. But that's when you see them misleading someone. If you see them purposely misleading somebody, or even if they may not knowingly be misleading someone, then you can come in and step in and say, brother, that information is not correct. Okay, and then that's when you both are trying to get on the right path, or you're trying to lead people to the right path. But if you're just conversating with somebody and you're trying to battle them, don't even do it, man. Don't even fuck around with that energy. Find people who you resonate with. That's what you want. Create worlds with those people. Because you're gonna get so much shit done, and then you're gonna see all the power that you create out of that. You're gonna see, first of all, people looking at you and saying, damn, look at that. Look at how much shit they got done. They're gonna want to do it, and all that shit is gonna do is just grow and grow and grow, and you're gonna create more and more shit. So you can battle if you want. If you're trying to be a mental surgeon and go out there and cut people up, more power to you. I lived that life for 10 years, and I had to put down the book swords in order to unite. I had to start uniting brothers, and so that we can get shit done. So, that's what I say on that shit, man. It says, I agree a lot. Yeah, a lot. It says, I agree. Hard to talk about. He says, hard to talk to people whose thought patterns are myopic. What's your take on Gnosticism and the concepts of the divine marriage? Well, I only dealt with Gnosticism in I haven't dealt with it in a long time. I dealt with it when I first, because I was a hardcore Christian, and I dealt with it when I was first getting out of Christianity, because Gnosticism is the esoteric part of Christianity. So each religion has its own esoteric knowledge. So Judaism's esoteric information would be uh, Kabbalah. Islam, Islam's esoteric information, or its something, would be Sufism. Christianity is Gnosticism, right? So the Gnostics were the cats. That means to know. These were the cats who actually knew what the fuck was going on in that time, and so that those were the true Christians. That's what Christianity really come out of. And then once you got, once you got the Nicene Council trying to take control of Christian, because they saw the Gnostics were so hardcore. They was like, these Gnostics are some gangster motherfuckers. They don't back down from shit. So Constantine was like, you know what? We gonna corrupt that damn shit right there. So he convened the council, and all the he basically had them round up all the information, the Gnostics and all the shit that they were, that they were teaching and preaching in that day. Put them together in the Nicene Council and said, all right, y'all put together one damn book. Y'all got all this shit. Put together one damn book, and then we're gonna make that the one damn thing, and we're gonna fuck with that. And there was a brother. If you go back and do the story, there was a brother named Aries. He was a black, a melanated brother in the council, and he said, "No, I'm not fucking with that." And he walked out. But that's where you get Christianity today, because they were corrupting, and they needed to co-opt that religion because they saw how hardcore and how that those people persevered through persecution. So then they would be they were smashing on them, and they were like, these motherfuckers are not backing down. They were like, shit, we can take that shit and make this shit our own. Now on the divine marriage, no, he didn't never convert to Christian. No, that's what I'm saying. He co-opted. It was a jacking. It was a hijacking. Like it was like, yeah, nigga, I can just jump in that ride and roll down the street and that lack on them Daytons, and still got my damn and still got my Constantine robe on. So it was it was literally it was a Trojan horse. That's literally what he did. He took Christianity as a Trojan horse to hide inside of it, to put all the bullshit, the pagan shit that they were doing inside of it, so that they could make it more. It could make it more palatable to the Gnostics and those Christians in that day, so that he could, because they were growing. He saw that they were growing, and he wanted to take over that damn sect. But that's all that shit about. But now, as far as the divine marriage, that can mean different things to different people. You know what I'm saying? As far as your spiritual connection to your, you know what I'm saying, to your other. Um, Sorry, but as far as your spiritual connection to your other, as far as my study, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different cultures. So it would, since you are God, your divine marriage really would be what it spiritually meant to you. That's actually what it meant. What do you think about Dr. Sabi? Dr. Sabi. Dr. Sabi is awesome. Well, he was. Peace to the God, Dr. Sabi. Dr. Sabi was awesome. Dr. Sabi, he discovered that basically the whole reason of why you die is mucus in your body. And if you can get rid of mucus in your body will live for a long time. Your cells remake, your body remakes itself on a constant basis. And what happens is it remakes itself with all this toxins in it because you don't understand how to cleanse. And so he found that out and didn't go to medical school and none of that shit. And he found this out and was able to cure cancer and AIDS. And was the only man in America who was able to say out loud publicly that he could cure AIDS without being arrested. So Dr. Sabi's awesome. I did the cleanse for a month, and I felt incredible when I did Dr. Sabi's cleanse. So I got nothing but,, but big props to say to big ups for Dr. Sabi. When did the white people come into existence? Oh man, I don't know. That's they all man. If you look back at hieroglyphics, they've been around here for a long time. Like even you look at Kemet, man, they're right there with highly melanated people, medium melanated people. you know, they're all right there. I mean, so who knows when they came about? But when they did, what I'm saying, they kind of got smacked up a little bit because they look funny. They were like, "Man, you don't. Where's your melanin, brother?" They was poking on it like, "Dude, your melanin, what's that shit? Where your melanin at, man?" They poking on the little dude, and he was like, "Man, get off me, nigga!" Like, nigga, I'm the same as you, nigga. So it kind of from that. That's right, Dr. Ben, absolutely, Dr. Ben, rest in peace. But from that, that's Caucasians. Hey, if you guys go look on YouTube, look up albinos in Africa today. Like you'll go look at the albino crisis in Africa today, and you'll see how that kind of, what I'm saying, that kind of went for back then. Because like today in Africa, they sell body parts of albinos. Like this one, there was a story of this one brother. I mean, this was his actual little brother. There's two brothers. So this brother was, I mean, way darker than me. He's an African, dark. His brother was albino, like super, super pale, came out pale. They believe that body parts of albinos are hold power. So this fool, he sold his brother for $200. He sold his brother to somebody for $200. And what they do is they cut off their feet. That's where that rabbit's foot thing came from, where the lucky rabbit's foot. So they cut off their feet, they cut off their hands. They're supposed to be good luck. So that stuff goes on today. Think about think about how it was. You talk about some hundreds of thousands of years ago, millions of years ago, when they, what I'm saying, or whenever it was when they first started popping up. You know what I'm saying? If we selling them today for $200, like brother sell his own brother today for $200. And that's literally when I mean today. That happened like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. So think about that shit. You know what I'm saying? What about the crows? What about the crow's feet? Oh no. He said, is the planet Nibiru or Planet X theory a real thing, and it raises the frequency of Earth when it comes back? I have no idea. all I can tell you is the Sumerians. All I can tell you is the Sumerians. They had all the information without having any damn telescopes. Their information was pretty spot on. So if we're going about what the Sumerians said, they said there was a planet who comes around this motherfucker every 3,600 years, and it's online to come back. Now, if you go and you line that up with Planet X, of what NASA talked about, they call it Planet X. There's a planet that's slightly outside this solar system, and they're tracking it. So if you want to line the two up and say, oh, well, the ancient Sumerians said that every 3,600 years, a planet comes back around and gives a planet who of the people who created us. It comes back around, and 3,600 years ago happened to be coming right around, and all of a sudden you line that up with NASA saying, oh, there's a planet outside of our solar system that we can't identify, so we're just gonna call it Planet X. Now you can put the two together and get what you want to get. But again, I'm gonna tell you, that's not gonna save us right now. like we can do it. That's all good for us opening our chakras and our minds and bringing back the knowledge. So we should discuss that in our own groups and create our own clubs and our own different brotherhoods like we used to do, and discuss all of that within those. Like that stuff needs to come back. These different fraternities and brotherhoods that we used to have, like the ancient orders and all that stuff, needs to come back, and we need to discuss that within there. However, from the open discussion, what we're having between each other in the open discussion, it should be how we get better today. How can we use that information? What we have to get better now? So, you know what I'm saying? And that stuff is great. Like if if you guys had found out this stuff back when I was learning about it, you would have the time to do that. But right now, they're about to put a major smash down on the world, and we need to learn how to get out of the out of the way. Because when they get ready to put it down, we want to be in a place that we don't get super fucked up by it. I mean, Donald Trump is not the president by accident and for no reason. It's some shit going down, and you're gonna feel fucked up when they finally get it in place, and you're gonna be like, fuck, all this shit was around. We could have did some shit about it, and we did nothing because we was worrying about is Planet X coming back. Like, they don't give a fuck about that shit. They put all that shit out there to distract all of us. Like I said, it's great talk for us and our own brotherhoods, which we need to bring back with our own rights and our own rituals and handshakes and all that shit. Not that masonry bullshit. We need to bring all that shit back. But for right now, we need to figure out how we're going to get past this shit. So I heard ancient cavemen cave drawing are really pictures of Earth from space. I don't know about that, brother. I have no idea. Again. Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate y'all, man. I've been talking a minute. I'm about to get off. In him. Who? Give me 4 good questions to answer before I get off. Bitcoin. Now, you guys are talking about Bitcoin. Hold up. Now let me say this. This is a good one to talk about. Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is good and bad. It's good right now because most people don't necessarily know about it, but most people don't necessarily know about it. But it's getting much more publicity because of the news. Like yesterday, they had to suspend trading. They suspended cryptocurrency trading because so much of it was getting out there and it was falling like crazy yesterday because Bitcoin fell crazy. So they suspended trading. Now, again, what you guys don't understand is a lot of what started to happen, the reason it blew up is because you had a lot of brothers getting into a lot of rappers and a lot of rich black people started to hear about it and they started to get in Bitcoin. So that's why it started to go up a lot. Now, a lot of white people too, a lot of Caucasian people started to get into it too. But if you go around, there's a lot of brothers, like athletes, hip hop artists, all these brothers are starting to buy Bitcoin. So it's starting to go off the chain. So now it's becoming a problem when the brothers start knowing about it. Oh shit. Like, oh shit, we got to suspend trading. So you guys need to get yourself up on that because that's going to be a way that they take control of this shit. When they crash the dollar, it's only going to be cryptocurrency. I mean, I'm telling you, like, you want to have you don't necessarily want to be in one thing all the way. Cryptocurrency should be one thing. You should have dollars. You should have gold. You should have all these different things that you have your money back. That you have your money back in. What they call it? They call a diverse portfolio. But Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is going to be the shit. And you want to get online and start learning how to trade and how to purchase it. What's good cryptocurrency, how to purchase it, how to hold on to it, and how to trade it. Because that's what's going on right now. That's the money that they can't control. Yeah, they don't, it's worldwide currency, so they can't control it. That's why you really want to start fucking with that. They cannot control that shit at all. So again, information is God. The acquisition and application of knowledge is true power. You guys know the real Naga motto. So when you guys hear this type of information flowing by you, if you bypass it and don't do any investigation on it, that's your fault. The universe sent this information past you for a reason. And if you don't grasp onto it and do your research and do your due diligence and figure out what the hell is going on, then you can't blame anybody when the shit comes back and smashes on you. Like I tell my homies all the time, when I tried to get them into gold, we tried to buy gold at $300 an ounce. We said, okay, let's pool our money. Everybody, we're going to put in $100 a month, and whatever we got, we're going to buy that much gold. We did that for 2 months. Niggas did it for 2 months. After 2 months, we was buying gold. We had the gold coins. Me and my girl, we would put in some, and then all the homies would put in some. After 2 months, brothers came back and was like, "Oh man, I need that money back, dog. Oh man, can I get that Can I get them $100, man? Oh, I just need the brother." And I told them, when you invest this money, you got to forget about it. This is money that doesn't exist anymore. So again, they came back. They got the money back. Gold shot up to almost $2,000 an ounce. And they came back and they were so pissed. I didn't sell my gold. Me and my girl, we didn't sell our gold. we didn't turn up. We kept buying. So again, when information passes you that you see that's going on and you don't do your investigation, don't just jump on it. Don't do that. You want to investigate and then proceed accordingly with the information. Let's see. Any other questions? Let's see. Yes, diversify your portfolios. I'm telling you, brother, we need to start getting into the realms that they don't think that we understand. That's the financial game. That's the tech game. Excuse me. Financial game, the tech game. They don't think we understand it. And the law. They don't think we understand these three realms. When we come for these three realms, you will have them. They think they have you in the tech game. They think they have you in the finance game and also the organizational game, like foundations and corporations. They think they have us in that because we don't understand that. So once you master these vehicles that they roll in, you don't understand. Again, finance, tech, law, and corporate structure. Once you start to understand these, the game is blown wide open. It's it. They have it's nothing else now. Dude, I've seen. See, I can't convey what I've seen to you. I can only tell you, but I can't convey to you the shit that I've seen. The people I've been around. I've been around so many different type of people, Jews and Asians and every different type of people with money, rich people as rich motherfuckers, like rich, super rich motherfuckers on different levels, super rich Asians, super rich Jews, super rich black people. I've seen it all, and I'm trying to tell you, man. You need to get on that level of how they think, the different vehicles they use to move around in. When you do that, the game is over. I promise you. And actually, while I got you, before I go, the one other game that they have, and I was going to put a video out on this, but while I got you guys on live stream, I can ask you. The major game that they have over you, as far as them intimidating you, the police intimidating you, again, is the law, because they don't think you know the law. But there's one thing that police officers and public officials have to have in order to secure that they do their job properly. It's like insurance for their job, right? And it's called a bond. It's called a public officials bond, right? I need to do this weekly? Nah, man. But it's called a public officials bond. I might think about it. So I don't talk that much, man. I don't got as much to say as Zoe and them, man. I just speak information for Cass to use. But again, let me get back on this. So a public officials bond. Now, what happens is, so what that is for is, if a police officer or a judge or any public official doesn't perform their job correctly, they have this bond just in case they don't perform this job correctly. Then if they don't, someone whoever they've wronged can come in and put a lien or a claim on this bond, which means they can't work anymore until that bond is cleared up. Okay? So this is the major game that they don't want you to know. This is the absolute top level of the game, which is what we need to start, which is what we need to master. Because now when they come and they abuse you, the police brutality and wrongful accusation, wrongful imprisonment, all the stuff that they do to you, if you pull their bonds, then they can't work anymore. It literally halts the game in its tracks. So what I'm asking for everybody else is, if you have that type of mash in you, try to find out in your state how to find public officials bonds. So in your state, it's going to be called or every public official has to take what's called an oath of bonds, an oath of office and bonds. So they have to take an oath to uphold the Constitution, and they also have to have a bond to hold office. Now it's called the officials' oath and bonds. So look up in your state what the officials oath and bonds is, and we need to bring all that information together and master it and create a system out of it so that we can teach that to everybody else. And that's going to be the remedy for everyone in these situations, because now I'm telling you, it's a whole different ball game. If you start to get beat up and you tell a police officer, if you don't quit, I'm going to pull your bond and put a lien on your bond. Guarantee you, if you tell a police officer that, his whole damn face will change, because they don't think you know about that shit. But my bond, what? You ain't supposed to know about that shit, because it's public knowledge. Anyone can go do it. If you feel that you've been wronged by a public official or a police officer, you can go to that police officer's bond company, pull their bond. It's legal for you to do that, and put a claim on it. And once you do that, that police officer can't work. Not only can they not work, it puts a lien on all their finances. Because usually to get the bond, they have to put up some personal property for it. So like their house or their cars or something like that, their personal credit cards. So when you put a lien on it, they can't use their credit cards, their house is put on lien, all of that shuts their shit down. This is the shit that's at the top level that we need to be learning, and we need to master and put into a complete system and bring together. But you say if they own Bitcoin, the rights that the internet flows over, then they are tracking every penny made. Yeah, this is the beginning of Bitcoin. You don't get into it to hold on to it. You get into Bitcoin to trade, and then you take the money out after you've made the money. So you want to get into Bitcoin trading right now. You get in there, you get in, get out. The market is real volatile. You get in, buy your Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin low. There's not even Bitcoin. Everybody only knows Bitcoin because that's the big name. There's 1,000 different other cryptocurrencies that you can buy that start real low at like 50 cents and 30 cents. You buy that stuff at real low prices. You hold on to that for a minute as it fluctuates. And then, wait till it goes up to about $3 or $4. Then you sell off and get the real money from it. So that's what you want to be doing in this type of situation, because Bitcoin is so new. You can make so much money on it. My homeboy is making a gang of cash on it until yesterday, until the market crashed. But this boy is making, he's making like $50,000 a day doing this shit. Like, crazy type of money. So that's a different game. This is the games or the levels of information we need to be understanding in order to be on the same plane, even surpassing them. Because once brothers, once we get a hold of a game, we'll freak that game until they got to get some new shit. So let's learn this and master it and freak it and mash out with it. Says, what are your thoughts on the FCC, the net neutrality? I was actually just talking to my friend who does the coin trading on this yesterday. We were breaking down that because Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is, you can't control it. The only way for them to control it is to try to control the internet and the speed of which you trade. See, that shit is traded through the internet. And the reason they quashed the net neutrality, because now corporations who also they operate in Bitcoin. So some they don't tell the public, but a lot of these corporations, they're a part of their portfolio is in Bitcoin. Like the head of Overstock was on CNBC a couple of days ago, and she asked him, how much of your portfolio is in Bitcoin? He told him, he's like a certain percentage, like something like 10 to 15% of their portfolio is in Bitcoin. So now these corporations who own the internet companies, who control your speeds, who control these internet speeds, now they can control the rate of speed at which this currency is traded. This is the game. See, they're trying to come in with this. Is what I'm saying. Get in this shit quick, man. Let's get in this shit at the beginning, and let's get in, master, and get the fuck on and do our own shit. Fighting don't be fools. Feds own the net, although you cannot get past the crypto blockchain. They can. It's not like that. Trust me, it's not like that. You got so many different cryptocurrencies with different codes. The main part about the real threat about cryptocurrency isn't the government. That's not what it is. The threat about cryptocurrency is somebody hacking your account and stealing your money. That's the main shit. They got, just like they got hackers who can hack into the government and shit like that. They got hackers out there hacking people's crypto accounts and taking money. So that's the real thing about that. But if you understand how to protect your money, the different ways you can encode it, encrypt and encryptions you can have, then that's not a problem. But that's usually the main problem with cryptocurrency. Kevin, should I get in on the legal weed and call? He said, should I get on the legal weed in Cali now? Man, we're about to be legal in about another week. It's about, you don't even understand what it's like out here if you go to the different bud shops. Different bud shops are all remodeling because they understand it's about to be crazy on January the 1st. These fools are tripping. Are you going there? They took everything off the walls. And I'm like, okay, what's going on up in here? They're like, January 1st. I'm like, they're getting a whole new everything. So it's too late to get in on the beginning game right now. They all got that locked down. But you do want to start looking into California and finding out how you can get dispensaries out here right now, because it's only going to get bigger. You don't understand. California is the biggest weed smoking state in the country. Like 50% of the 100% of people who smoke weed in America, 50% of that is smoked by California. So the money is about to be, I mean, it's going to be staggering. So yes, get you a bunch of cats, get into the weed game. I mean, first of all, get the information, understand what you're doing, get into, and then try to get you a dispensary or some type of, or get into that, or get into some type of auxiliary type of weed game. There's everything. You can get into everything. Selling edibles, dispensaries. You can get into security for dispensaries. You can get into trying to exchange money for them, because it's still not legal with the Fed. So they still have to exchange money in certain ways. So there's so many ways to make money off of the weed industry right now. You can be creative with it. You don't necessarily have to sell weed. You can come up with a way to fix a problem that the weed industry has. So man, this is going to be the last way that you can get from nothing to the top, because once they control the system and merge it all together, they're going to have control of everything. Right now, this is going to be the last system in cryptocurrency before it gets major that they don't have control over yet, that you need to get into the game with. But they know niggas in the hood are dumb and lazy and apathetic and don't want to learn anything, don't want to take the time to sit down and understand certain shit. They be like, man, what this cryptocurrency? What's the damn crypto wallet or a Bitcoin wallet? What is that shit? I don't know what this shit is. I ain't going online to learn that shit. Man, fuck this shit, nigga. I'm about to, man. And then they counting on you to do that. They like, yeah, man, this shit is too hard for you to learn. Go ahead, man. Go fuck some more time off. Go look at X-Men again. Go look at some bullshit. Go watch LeBron James. Go do some other bullshit. Anything but learn this shit right here. Yeah, that's what they're absolutely worried. They're worried, man. They are worried that you don't learn what they learn. That's why they push all this bullshit for you. They try to push everything that they can in front of you, but you don't see them pushing coding in front of you. Why ain't they pushing that in front of you? Why ain't they pushing opening foundations and corporations? You don't understand that game. Why ain't they pushing that cryptocurrency in front of you? You only see that if you go to CNBC and watch. You got to watch their channels to learn about that cryptocurrency shit is going crazy. The law, they definitely not telling you about that. They definitely not telling you about the law. Man, if you try to learn the law, then the game is over. He said, I'm going coding with the homies. That's right, man. Start coding. Man, if we can take over this technology game, dude, that's what they really don't want us to see. They really don't want us to see take over that technology game, especially that law game. So the weed had a bunch, yeah, the weed had a bunch of chemicals in it, man. You can find growers, you can find organic growers, man. That all that stuff is that's why you research, you do your research, you um you find out what's going on. Oh, for all of you on here who want to get in the bud game, I'm gonna get check take this website down. It's called greenzip.com. Greenzip. ZIPP. Green, the word green, zip, ZIPP.com. If you can't find that, just type it in Google. This company is a company that will set up your dispensary for you. They'll do everything for you. If you're trying to get in the weed game, trying to do everything, they'll submit your paperwork for your licenses. They'll find you a dispensary. They'll find you a place to put up your dispensary. They'll do everything for you. Now, um, they'll do it now. It's a major price, so like for $2,000 they'll do everything, but they have lower rates where they'll only do certain things that you want them. If you only want them to file your paperwork, they'll do that. If you want them to find you a dispensary building, they'll do that. That's for a certain price. But if you want them to do everything, they'll do everything, and that's a price for that. So it's called greenzip.com. Right? Or greenzip.org, because I think they may be a nonprofit. So either one, greenzip.org or greenzip.com, and they'll hook you up in your state. They can hook you up, whatever your state is, they can hook you up in your state too. So get on that. Get into these businesses. Expand your mind. You know what I'm saying? Think like, think beyond like what they think. Remember the definition of success means what comes next. So if you're not always thinking about what comes next, you can't succeed. You're always trapped in the now, but you're trapped right here. But there's always going to be a what comes next. There's always a what comes next. So in order to succeed, you need to be ready for what comes next. And that's these different things, these different vehicles that they move around in, that we need to be like, hey homie, slide over from that driver's seat, partner. You don't know how to move that, partner. Hey, let me show you how to stick to move this gear shift, partner. You don't know nothing about this right here. Matter of fact, you sit on the sideline, little nigga. You sit on the sideline while I roll this right here. And that's what we need to be telling them. Get your ass out the car. You don't know nothing about this car. I got this. So we need to get on that game. And on that, I'm getting hungry, so I'm about to bounce and make me some food or order some food. And I'm gonna holler at y'all in a minute. Can you say, can you still open a dispensary even if you said, can you still open a dispensary even if you don't live in the state? You need to hook up with somebody in the state. Now, go to GreenZip. If you go to GreenZip, they'll tell you. Like if you call this company, if you talk to this company, they'll tell you everything you need to know if you can do that or not. But usually it's you need to have a resident in the state to open up a dispensary in that state. So if you do that, then they'll hook you up. But thanks for y'all. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Appreciate it. If y'all can get out, don't, hook up, visit the Real Naga store, get some gear. If y'all visit the Real Naga shop and you guys get the t-shirts, I'll send you I'll send you guys the Face of the Dragon documentary. So, So if you buy something, you get something. All right. If not, just go ahead. If y'all want to support, get on over to GoFundMe.com/Real Nagas and hook a brother up. Appreciate it. Also, subscribe. Patreon. I'm telling you, these documentaries I'm going to put out are going to be off the chain. The next one, Are You Black or Greater Than That? Dealing with Melanin and the Law, Your Status in Law. So get on over to Patreon, subscribe. It's only like $2 a month for the lowest thing, and y'all will be in the game. All right, peeps. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and I'm going to holler back at y'all in a minute. Peace.